Hello students, today we will discuss the development of veins under development of cardiovascular system. So in today's lecture we will discuss the development of superior vena cava, inferior vena cava and coronary sinus. Before that I would like to tell you that this is the repetition of the previous knowledge that venous end of the heart tube is represented by sinus venosus. Each horn of the sinus venosus, it receives the three primitive veins, that is vitelline vein, umbilical vein and common cardinal vein. These veins, they drain the yolk sac, placenta and body wall respectively. Now veins of the embryo may be divided into two groups, that is visceral veins and somatic veins. Visceral vein, it include the right and left vitelline veins from yolk sac and right and left umbilical veins from placenta, and the cardinal veins which are draining the body wall, they are included under somatic veins. So these cardinal veins are basically anterior cardinal vein which are right and left, then right and left posterior cardinal vein, then common cardinal vein which is also known as ducts of Cuvier. So these are paired veins. Now in this diagram you can see, so there is anterior cardinal vein, you can see this is anterior cardinal vein, posterior cardinal vein, again on this side anterior cardinal vein, posterior cardinal vein, and this is common cardinal vein which is continuing with the sinus venosus, which is ultimately draining into sinus venosus. Now right and left anterior cardinal veins, they drain the cranial part of embryo including the brain. Right and left posterior cardinal veins, they drain the caudal part of the embryo. Anterior and posterior cardinal veins of each side, they join to form the common cardinal vein or duct of Cuvier which open into the corresponding horn of sinus venosus. Now anterior cardinal veins are joined by the subclavian vein that drain the forelimb. In diagram B, you can see, so this is the subclavian vein, so which is joining the anterior cardinal vein. Then anterior cardinal veins are connected by the transverse anastomosis proximal to their junction with subclavian veins. You can see in the diagram C. So this is the anastomosis which is formed between these two anterior cardinal veins. The part of the left anterior cardinal vein caudal to the anastomosis retrogresses. So next step is that this portion it retrogresses. That is on which side? That is on the left side. So does the left common cardinal vein. So this part it retrogresses in next step of the development of superior vena cava. Now if we see this picture, keeping in mind this picture, now we will discuss the development of superior vena cava. So it is derived from, now you can see in the diagram, so it is derived from the right anterior cardinal vein caudal to the transverse anastomosis with the left anterior cardinal vein, that is number 1 in the diagram, then right common cardinal vein. So these structures, they form the superior vena cava. Now right horn of sinus venosus forms the part of right atrium, as you know. Thus the superior vena cava, it opens into this chamber, that is in which part? That is right atrium of the heart. Now keeping in mind these structures, whatever be the changes they are happening, as I have told you that anterior cardinal vein, they are joined by subclavian vein, then anastomosis is formed, and then retrogression of the left anterior cardinal and this posterior cardinal and common cardinal vein, it happens. So keeping in mind this diagram, so if any arrest is happening in between or any change is happening, that lead on to the different anomalies of superior vena cava. So there may be double superior vena cava, it is clear to you now. When anastomosis between two anterior cardinal veins fail to develop, means no anastomosis is formed. So two anterior cardinal veins, they lie independently. The anterior cardinal vein on both sides develop into superior vena cava, you can see in the diagram. So these are two anterior cardinal veins. The anastomosis between them, it failed to develop. So these are two independent veins now. The left superior vena cava opens into the coronary sinus which opens into the right atrium. So you can see here, so this superior vena cava is opening into coronary sinus, which ultimately opens into right atrium. So next anomaly is left superior vena cava. Due to failure of the left anterior and common cardinal vein to retrogress, the left superior vena cava, it opens into the right atrium through a large coronary sinus. In this condition, the normal superior vena cava may be reduced in size or may be absent. So keeping in mind that diagram which I have told you, so if this portion it persists, normally it retrogresses, but if it persists definitely, so it is left superior vena cava which appears and which is going to open into the right atrium, but the opening is through the large coronary sinus. So the fate of this right superior vena cava is either it may be reduced in size or it may be absent. Coming to the next vein, that is inferior vena cava. Now we have discussed the anterior cardinal vein for superior vena cava, but for inferior vena cava, so we are concerned with this posterior cardinal veins. So these are two posterior cardinal veins. So they are connected by an anastomosis, you can see in the diagram B. So the caudal end of the posterior cardinal veins, they receives the veins of lower limb, that is external iliac, and veins of the pelvis, that is internal iliac. You can see in the diagram, so it is receiving the two veins, that is external iliac and internal iliac. The caudal end of the posterior cardinal veins are connected by the transverse anastomosis, you can see in diagram B. Now what are the different changes which are happening after that is, the subcardinal veins, they are formed in relation to mesonephros. You can see in the diagram, subcardinal vein, they appear in relation to mesonephros. Cranially and caudally, they communicate with posterior cardinal vein, you can see. So these subcardinal veins, they are connected with posterior cardinal vein. They receives the vein from the kidney, you can see. In this, they receive the vein from the kidney. So this is the mesonephric area where kidney is going to develop. So this subcardinal vein is receiving this vein. At the level of renal veins, two subcardinal veins are connected by a transverse anastomosis, that is which is given the name, that is transverse intersubcardinal anastomosis, because it is happening between the two subcardinal veins. Now next step is the supracardinal veins. They communicate cranially and caudally with posterior cardinal vein, you can see. So next step is supracardinal veins, they appear, you can see in the diagram. Cranially, subcardinal communicate with the right hepatocardiac channel, that is very clear. So hepatocardiac channel is there, so it is connected with that anastomosis is formed between the subcardinal and hepatocardiac channel. The next step is the supracardinal veins also communicate with subcardinal vein just below the renal veins, you can see the communication. So first step is this subcardinal vein appearance. Next step is the anastomosis between the two subcardinal veins. Next step is the supracardinal veins, they appear. But this subcardinal and supracardinal, they have communication with posterior cardinal vein at both the ends. Next is the hepatocardiac channel has communication with this subcardinal. Then next step is the communication with the subcardinal and supracardinal. So if we see the diagram, so we are left with these structures for the development of inferior vena cava. So many part of these longitudinal channels, they disappear. So remaining veins give rise to inferior vena cava, renal veins, veins of gonads, and suprarenal vein. First, we will discuss the IVC development. If we know the steps, that what are the different steps for the development of inferior vena cava, and after that certain parts they disappear and some part of those channels or connecting channels, they just remain, and those different parts, they help in the formation of inferior vena cava. Now what are those? Number one, lowest part of the right posterior cardinal vein between its junction with the supracardinal and anastomosis between two posterior cardinals, called sacrocardinal segment. So this is one segment. Then is lower part of the supracardinal vein, number 2, You can see in the diagram. Number 1 is the sacrocardinal segment, which is lying between its junction with the supracardinal and anastomosis between two posterior cardinal. So that is the end. Then second is lower part of the supracardinal between its junction with posterior cardinal and supracardinal and subcardinal anastomosis. So this is supracardinal and subcardinal anastomosis. So this segment is the next part which is going to contribute IVC development. Third part is subcardinal and supracardinal anastomosis. Fourth part is right subcardinal vein. So which part? That is between subcardinal and supracardinal anastomosis and anastomosing channel between right hepatocardiac anastomosis and subcardinal veins. Means this portion of the subcardinal which is lying between this communication and between this communication. So this portion of subcardinal is going to contribute IVC. This is known as the renal segment of vena cava because this segment is developing in relation to the mesonephros and it is receiving the renal veins too. Clear? Next is subcardinal hepatocardinal anastomosis. You can see here. So this is next segment is going to contribute. Then is right hepatocardiac channel. So this is right hepatocardiac channel which is known as hepatic segment of IVC. So keeping in mind this development, so what is important is what are the different anomalies related with its course? Double IVC. So what happened in this case? That is failure of the development of anastomosis between the two posterior cardinal veins. Both remain patent. Hence left posterior cardinal vein below the level of renal vein develops into the IVC, while normal IVC develop on the right side. So left IVC open into which part? That is left renal vein. You can see in the diagram. So this is going to open into left renal vein. Then absence of IVC. The anastomosis channel between right subcardinal vein and right hepatocardiac channel fails to develop. The cranial part of the subcardinal vein, which normally disappear, it persists and carries the blood from IVC to superior vena cava. The hepatic vein directly open into right atrium at the site of IVC. So this is about this. Then pre-ureteric vena cava. In this condition, the right ureter passes behind the inferior vena cava. That is retrocaval ureter. It occurs when the infrarenal part of the IVC develops from the subcardinal vein that lies anterior to the ureter instead of supracardinal vein that lies posterior to the ureter. Means below the level of infrarenal portion, the part is developing from the subcardinal part. So not developing from the supracardinal. Now coming to the development of coronary sinus. So third vein we are going to discuss is the coronary sinus. You can see in the diagram. So this is the you can say enlarged diagram showing the anterior cardinal vein. So these are two anterior cardinal vein. Then that's number 1 and 7. Then numbers 2 and 8 they are posterior cardinal vein. Number 6 and 3 they are common cardinal veins. So these are common cardinal veins. And these are the basically tributaries. That is 9 and 10 vitelline vein and 11 and 12 is the umbilical vein. So this is the part of sinus venosus. Now if we consider it like this, so it is sinus venosus is receiving the that is vitelline vein, umbilical vein and common cardinal vein. So this we have discussed in our previous slides. Now this is the enlarged diagram. Now coronary sinus, it develops from the caudal part of the left anterior cardinal vein and whole of left common cardinal vein disappears as we know. That is we know the fate. In first slide I told you. So after the anastomosis between the anterior cardinal veins, the part of left anterior cardinal vein and common cardinal vein it disappears. Now what happened next to it? The greater part of the posterior cardinal vein disappears. You can see here. This is the posterior cardinal vein. They disappear, but small part adjoining the common cardinal vein it persists. So this portion it persists as a small vein. Now left horn of sinus venosus undergo retrogression, that we know, then reduce to a tributary of right horn, that again we know because of our previous knowledge which we have discussed in our previous lectures. So this retrogressing veins persist as left superior intercostal vein and coronary sinus. So this is important. So retrogressing veins which we are seeing in the diagram, they persist as left superior intercostal vein, and you can see the coronary sinus which is just developing from that portion. Now if we see this diagram, now medial part of the coronary sinus is derived from, now this is basically, what is this? This is the sinus venosus. The medial part of the coronary sinus is derived from the left horn of sinus venosus, this portion. Lateral part is derived from the proximal part of the common cardinal vein. The remaining part of this portion, left common cardinal vein persists as the oblique vein of left atrium. So this is the portion. So retrogression of the common cardinal vein is happening, but the part of common cardinal vein which is going to open into the sinus venosus, that persists. So that portion is further divided into, if we consider that is 5A is the part of left horn of sinus venosus. It is receiving the tributary from the common cardinal vein, that is 6A, that is on left side. Then remaining part of the left common cardinal vein, it persists as the oblique vein of left atrium. So this is all about the development of the different veins. So again I request you, kindly subscribe my channel. Thank you very much.